Well, the January 6th committee meets again today amid a flurry of developments and new defiance from potential key witnesses. It comes after the panel received White House phone logs from the day of the insurrection, and we've learned that those records do not include some of the calls made by former President Trump as he watched the violence unfold on TV. So Scott MacFarlane is joining us now. He's been reporting on all of this, and you're joining us from Capitol Hill. Scott, first question to you. Why is the committee meeting? And what do we know that they're going to be sort of focused on?
Anne-Marie, good morning to you. They're going to meet privately. This is not an open public meeting, and some of it will be virtual, I'm told. But they've got to catch up from a very busy week. Among the people with whom they met this week were top Trump communications aides. They also have this big document dump that's been coming their way. At this moment, Anne-Marie, the committee has 500 interviews and 60,000 documents. And one of the committee members told me last night they've got to catch up on what they've collected over the last few weeks and figure out what the next steps are. One of the committee members says they very much want to find out what is still happening with White House phone logs. What do they have? What do they still need? They want to talk about the people who've defied the committee, who've not come for their depositions, who have not honored the subpoenas. One of the names they've mentioned, Rudy Giuliani, the former Trump lawyer and former New York mayor. They got to figure out what the next steps are there. But perhaps the most striking thing in the past 24 hours for this committee is what one of the members, Liz Cheney, wrote in a Wall Street Journal op-ed saying the committee will not be intimidated. A reference to the RNC censure a week ago, but also saying this committee, when it has its public hearings, wants to show the public there was no voter fraud in 2020. There was no foreign interference, no spy satellites impacting the American vote. Kind of giving us a trajectory, Anne-Marie, of where this committee's going. And every time they give us a direction, it looks like a larger and larger portfolio in their investigation.
But, you know, Scott, I mean, they could be investigating forever. I'm sure that there's a timeline that they want to adhere to. At some point, they're going to want to do public hearings, and I would think they would want to do that, you know, before the warmer weather when, you know, everyone's going to be out. They're not going to be wanting to sit around and watch a public hearing.
Yeah, there's a timeline they have to adhere to. There's a timer that's running for this committee. They are recognizing that it's possible in November the Democrats lose control of the U.S. House on Election Day in January, surrender it to the Republicans, who have made clear they're going to shut down the House January 6th Select Committee. So there's a deadline. They would want to get their work done, reports issued by summer, if not early fall. The timeline for public hearings is trickier as this investigation gets larger and larger. As there are more interviews, as there are more documents, it's becoming difficult to pinpoint when they can have the prime time hearings they've been projecting. We first heard February, then it became March, then it became April. Now nobody's answering that question, so that's unclear, but in part, Anne-Marie, because there's just so much intake. There's a fire hose they're trying to corral and direct.
Yeah, and they don't know where all the information is. We're learning now that there were several boxes of documents at Mar-a-Lago on the property there. The former president says that the documents were moved there as part of a collaborative conversation or what. Essentially, it was okay to bring them there. Obviously, they've been removed now. Where do things stand on this?
The former president has put out multiple statements defending the placement or the holding of documents at Mar-a-Lago, saying he has a collegial and positive working relationship with the National Archives. But here at the Capitol, the U.S. House Oversight Committee has joined the fray, saying they'd like to investigate this archives records dispute. How did the records get to Florida? Why were they not still with the archives? What has the archives found in its review of that? So add them to the mix. So you have many different investigations swirling. You have the U.S. Justice Department investigation of the criminal activity right here January 6th, the 740-plus federal defendants charged in the riot. You have the House Select January 6th Committee with its growing investigation. And add to that the U.S. House Oversight Committee looking at the archives records. But that last one's important, Anne-Marie. The House Oversight Committee can and will release to the public whatever it finds that it deems interesting. The Justice Department keeps its cards close to the vest until they file criminal charges. The House Select January 6th committee is biding its time. It has a lot to get to. But the Oversight Committee, we could see some of their cards, presumably in the coming months.
All right, Scott MacFarlane. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you.